My name is Andrew Bustamante, and this is Everyday Espionage. Sometimes the ground truth is hard to hear, and we spend our lives becoming experts, understanding reality that is subjective but true to us. Only we find out that sometimes others do not agree. I've been sharing my friend and former CIA deep cover officer, who I've codenamed EDJACKAL, with you the last few episodes of this Everyday Espionage podcast. Now, he lives in a reality very similar to mine. And while I agree with him on many things, there are many people who do not agree with him. And in this podcast, we talk about patriotism, what it is, what it isn't, and how we've seen it in the field of battle. Again, you may not agree with Jackal, but you are welcome to sit here with us and listen while we discuss what we consider the ground truth. You talked about patriotism. Yeah. And I think the word that you specifically said is that patriotism as a motivation is bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? So that message, that statement from a patriot, right, is going to strike a lot of people it's going to cause some cognitive dissonance. People are not going to understand what you're talking about. So I want to dive into that. And I want to dive into that because what I think that you're saying, and I agree with what I think that you're saying, is that patriotism is the weak definition. It's the poor man's description of what's actually happening, right? Or do we all love our country? Yes. To different extents, for different reasons, we all, quote unquote, love our country, right? But that's not what we're talking about when we talk about patriotism. Patriotism is, why do you put your life on the line for your country? What is the purpose that you do that? That's what I think you're saying. That's powerful. Yeah. Why you as an individual do it, that's powerful. But when everybody just says, oh, I'm here because I have a passion for serving, or, oh, I just want to serve, I want to do what I can for my country, that's weak. There's no self-realization, there's no self-actualization.
I tell them to go be a nurse or a doctor.
Go be a teacher.
Go be a teacher. We need a lot of teachers.
Yeah, if you want to do something that your country needs, there's a whole hierarchy of what
it's got to come from within. You know, I do a lot of training with people that are in my shoes, you know, the younger generation. And one of the things I do the first day, I'll ask them, why are you guys doing this? Because the sacrifice is immense. Family sacrifice. You don't make a lot of money. You're doing this 24/7.
Physical health, mental
under
health.
Stress. You're getting shot at. I mean, why are you guys here? And I hear things like, I'm doing it because I'm a patriot. Another one is 9/11. Another one is, it's a family tradition. My dad did it, my grandfather. Another one I hear a lot, I want to be the best of the best. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me, man? You're going to do all this because you want to be the best of the... You're going to train for 2 years and get freaking crushed, go downrange, get shot at, possibly captured, tortured. Your marriage is probably going to end up in divorce.
You're going to live the rest of your life with digestional issues because your stomach is going to have been rotted by all the parasites.
Your kids are probably going to hate you because you're never around. You're going to do all this because your daddy did it?
Right.
Because you're a patriot? You don't even know what a patriot is. 9/11? No. I said, you guys are going to be good. If you really work hard at it, you can be good. But to be great, there's another reason. And then I usually ask for more volunteers. What are some other reasons? And invariably, a handful will raise their hand. And they'll say something like, it's my passion. And I'll say, what do you mean it's your passion? And the right answer is, you know, I can't really explain it. I've always wanted to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is who I am as a person. It's what I think about. I gravitate towards this. It's what I do. It's a calling. Those people have the potential to be great because they never question their motivations. They get in a firefight, that's the guy who's going to shoot back because it's what he does. He's already been pre-programmed. God put that there. That's a gift he has.
The audience that we're talking to right now has also been taught the difference between passion and talent, right? And here you are telling me that the differentiator in the most elite American fighting units and the differentiator in the world's most elite intelligence units. It isn't about working hardest. It isn't about having the talent to shoot the straightest. It's about the guy that has so much passion he can't even describe why he wants to do it.
We had a guy, we lost our medic on the second day, KIA. Okay. The guy that was brought in as a substitute was a medic from a conventional military unit. And we're thinking to ourselves, I can't believe this. And the guy that showed up, I think his backpack was bigger than he was. We couldn't figure out, like, who's the backpack and who's the guy. You know? We sent like 3 of these guerrilla guys out there to like help the poor guy out. It was all medical. He basically was carrying a hospital on his back. You know.
Did he parachute in or was he dropped off?
No, he was dropped off. Yeah. I think if he parachuted in,
he'd get crushed.
He'd have floated about 100 miles. He was so light. You know? A good wind could have taken him across the border. But no, you know, the guy showed up and there was something different about this guy. He was real quiet. He was real still. Where everybody else is screwing around, telling war stories, joking around. He would just kind of sit there, and he was very thoughtful, listen to everything that was going on around him. And you know, that guy got out on his first patrol. I'm not even sure he had ever handled a weapon before. A lot of medics will not carry a firearm because they become a target, right? But believe me, bad guys know who the medic is. Oh, yeah. That's the first guy that they're going to shoot at. He took a firearm with him. I think he had a 45 or a Glock. One of our big guys is taking on contact. He gets shot. He's out there 60 meters away, and you can see the tracers. I mean, there was an unbelievable field of fire. And everybody was kind of thinking about how are we going to get this dude back, you know? I mean, there's just firing on this guy. Without any direction, medic runs out there. Again, he's a little guy. I mean, he turns sideways, you can't see the dude, you know what I mean? And maybe that's what saved him, but he ran out there. And it was a miracle he didn't get shot. This is a 60 meters through a field of fire. He grabbed this big dude, we call him Jericho, by his ankles and drug him to safety. Another guy got hit. He dragged him as well. But we called in air support, and the battlefield was cleared, at least it was neutralized. We suppressed fire. And we couldn't believe the courage this guy had.
This little medic who was not a special ops medic.
And we talked to. He didn't go through the SFAS. He didn't go through the Q course. You know, he was just a guy. He was a military guy, a JAG, just another guy. And man, the more and more we got to know this guy, he had an internal fire, and we got into a discussion around the fire one night. And I'm not kidding you. I can still remember the conversation. He was like, "I don't know why I do this." He said, I'm the first person in our family that's ever gone in the military, but this is what I do. This is what I love doing. You know? And he couldn't even describe the feeling. He later became the point guy on most of our missions, on most of our scouting missions.
What's the point guy do? Tell us.
That's the first guy in the formation. If somebody's going to get it, he's probably going to get it.
And your medic was
somebody steps in a mine, he's going to take the mine probably. He just wanted to be the point guy. It was just. He had his M4, and he was 38 missions. You know? His nickname, God.
His nickname became God.
That's what we called him. Everyone in the area of operations knew who this guy was.
Everybody felt safe.
Everybody knew God. We talked in radio chatter. God, how's God doing? What the hell did God do? Yeah, God pulled another rabbit out of the hat. Yeah. He was God. God was subsequently killed, but he did 38 missions. That was a guy that he had that gift. Why? He was driven by that. Do you think a guy like that would have been doing that because his grandfather did it?
Right.
Or because of 9/11? Hell no, he wouldn't have done it.
Nobody runs into a field of fire.
You got to have that.
Prove themselves. They do it because it's all they know how to do.
He had nothing to prove. Never talked about it. It was like the sun came up. It's a new day, fellas. Whatever happened yesterday, gone. He never reflected about the past and never obsessed over the future. He literally lived each day at a time.
Why is that story, why is that medic so powerful to you?
I mean, first of all, he was a man of virtue. I mean, you think about it, the 4 great virtues, right? Did he have courage? Hell yeah, he had courage, right? Did he have temperance? Yeah, the guy had great temperance. He was in total control of what he was doing. Did he have a sense of justice? Absolutely. Had a very clear sense of right or wrong. In his mind, what he was doing was righteous.
Saving lives.
Saving lives. What's the 4th great virtue? Wisdom. Man, this guy was smart. He was reading everything from Hemingway to Socrates to the Roman Empire and French Revolution. I mean, this guy used to describe what he would call theory of mind. Why do people read fictional books? Have you ever thought of this? Most people read nonfiction. They want to get better, right? Wrong. You read great fiction, Tolstoy, Hemingway, that's all theory of mind. You can predict human behavior based upon those great novels. They've already figured it out.
Yeah.
So he knew how to act. He knew how to conduct his life based upon everything he had read. He learned from other people's mistakes.
So here's a jag, just another guy, that could have been any one of us.
Absolutely.
Any guy on the street corner, any guy who was in your high school phys ed class.
Absolutely.
And one day, this guy was dropped into a special forces unit, saved lives, showed incredible courage, not because he wanted to, but because it was who he was.
Right.
And then he became the kind of myth, the kind of legend that actually inspires others to great achievement.
Sort of a civilian application of this that a lot of people may be able to identify. Had a relative of mine, unbelievable, smart, savvy, street smart, everything. Talk about gifts. He went from everything from a car mechanic to an MBA guy working in corporate America, ran a car dealership. The guy had done just about everything. Was introduced to software coding. Immediately took to it. Took a software coding course. Was the superstar. Now he works for
anybody who wants to work.
Anybody who wants to, making tons of money. And you know what? I'm sort of his unofficial mentor. He'll tell me over the phone, he says, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this. I mean, he is literally building the world with everything he's doing. He's making a difference in everyone's lives. Artificial intelligence, machine learning. He sits at a desk on a mountaintop now, working on his computer. That's his vocation.
That's his vocation. It's what he was called to be.
He's convinced he was called to do this. And you know what? People talk about retirement. He'll probably work till he's 90. And that is the new workforce. You have to tap in to your vocation. The stakes are high now because there's no longer pension plans, retirement. There is no safety out there. You have to become your own man.
You're going to be working.
And the way to do that, tap in to that vocation. I tell people, forget about career. Find out what your vocation is.
Tap into that passion.
How to find that is a subject of a whole different discussion.
The world has many heroes, but we don't get to meet them. Many of them are quiet and humble, and oftentimes they are lost, doing what they do best. But like EDJACKAL's story of the everyday guy turned heroic medic, the path to great achievement isn't something we are given. It is something that we choose to do. Something that comes naturally, something that calls to us that we can't resist. I hope that you are enjoying this conversation with EDJACKAL, and I look forward to sharing more of Jackal's insights and stories with you next time. We learn by listening to one another, even if we don't agree with what one another has to say. This is Everyday Espionage. Everyday Espionage is dedicated to one thing: educating everyday people. I know that not everyone will listen, but those who listen will learn. If you learned something new today, click subscribe, review, and share the podcast with a friend. Find me on social media at Everyday Spy or on my website, everydayspy.com. If you are up for a special challenge, visit everydayspy.com/operations and join me for an authentic spy training mission. And above all else, remember that knowledge is freedom.